Got the Centauri carbon. Just ordered it. Just, got it delivered. As you can see, it's physically right here. So I'm going to be unboxing this, putting this right there, and I'm going to test that out for y'all. So if you want to see the full video of that, check it on my channel. I'll be posting a full video on it. Subscribe, post notifications, and you'll get notified when I make the full video. Alright, I took the thing out of the package. Got the Elegoo Centauri carbon. Took some of the cardboard stuff out, and now I got to put that up. Gotta, take this off. I gotta configure this. Gotta get this out of here. I'm not gonna say it was hard to get it out of the box, but it was a little awkward because I couldn't lift it out because of the styrofoam. I physically could, but I didn't want to rip the box. But I gotta get this stuff off. Gonna take this off, and then you got the plate right here. But this is the Elegoo Centauri carbon compared to my Bamboo A1 Mini, and then the Creality Ender 3 V3KE. Kind of the same, height, but this is definitely a lot bigger. This is like 256 by 256, so pretty big printer. Gonna print some pretty sick stuff. This is super tall, Core XY build, can print like carbon fiber, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to print with this, so I will get going with that soon. So I pulled out the build plate. Build size is pretty big, but there is the first side, which is side A of this. This is like the normal PEI coated stuff, kind of like this one, for every single filament. And then on the B side, it's like a lot smoother, but it's still kind of, not super smooth. This looks a lot different in person, but this is definitely a lot like shinier, and this is a lot smoother. And it says optimized for PLA printing. I'm gonna see what this is like. I'm gonna print some stuff on this. Setting this up right now. Of course, Chinese is the first option for some reason. Bam, I'll do the setup right now. But yeah, I will set it up right now. It has this little thing, so it's unlike certain printers like that printer where it's like you kind of gotta like guess and like not be super like 1000% accurate on putting the build plate on. But yeah, huge build size. This is like 10 inches. Core XY, so this should be quiet. I also got some vibration, anti-vibration things, so I'm gonna try that out. But yeah, pretty sick. Yeah, so I didn't read any instructions, and so I'm glad it says the instructions in here. I like the screen, very extremely high detail. It looks like a phone, pretty much. This Bamboo is kind of the same, but this one, you can just take off. It's pretty sick. But I gotta take these 3 screws out, and I'm gonna do that right now. So I put the top panel on, and as you can see, there's a little bit of like room here. I don't know how this is gonna work with the, like fumes and stuff. I can kind of, peek in there and see a little bit, but the thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put some tape on top of this and just seal it all in. But I'm not too sure if this is gonna make any fumes. I don't know how I'd even test it, but not looking too great. This is, you take this off, boom, boom, but there's definitely a lot of clearance here. Like this is like, at least a millimeter or two of clearance. So this is all the way left, all the way right, so I can just kind of mess with it, So kind of interesting, but I don't know if it's gonna be too big of an issue. It's looking like there's not that much of, a thing. There's also like a air filter in the back right there and stuff. But, I'm gonna start the calibration and we're gonna see how it looks. So 30-minute startup time is crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess there's like a camera and stuff in here, so I can just take this out and it's gonna do that. The camera should be like right there, I think. Or not. Where is it at? Where'd it go? Oh, it's right there. Right there. So pretty dope. Gonna close this. I think I messed it up. Probably did. But that's just the nozzle heating. And then you get heated bed check, heat break full, or heat break, heat break cooling fan, mainboard cooling fan, input shaping, all that stuff. Pretty high-tech printer, especially for 350, because I bought that printer right there for 323 new. That's including taxes, and this was including taxes, plus the what is it called? The worry-free shipping and then the vibration fee total. So this was the same price as this. So don't get one of these printers, by the way. They suck. They're not that great for the price. Get one of these instead. And of course it is bigger, but it's also infinitely better. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same settings, but I'm really kind of upset about that thing because I wish it was like a perfect seal. Because look, that's gonna be annoying. But it looks fine so far. Only one material slot, which I probably guessed, but of course it has the filament detecting, and if it didn't, I would definitely not even buy this printer at all. But people were on Reddit and stuff were talking about adding. They're considering adding an AMS unit or announcing it in quarter 3 of this year or something like that. I don't know how true that is. I only read it in like passing, but it would be a smart decision for them. I don't know how to even fit that on. I mean, I don't see like a little like thing to put it on there. I mean, I don't see any like external screw. Actually, maybe right there. But this is the. Well, I guess this thing right here. This is probably where they put it, the filament, exhaust or whatever, because this is where the fans come out. So I'm thinking this is where they put it. And you got these 4 screws, maybe. That's my thought process. It would be a very smart decision for them to make an upgrade for this, because this printer, I mean, this is like, if this is good, Elegoo, they kind of ruined my hopes because, I bought a pre-owned printer from them and it was really trash. I mean, it was only 150, but the new price it was the Neptune 4 Pro. It was like, I think like, what is it? Market price was like $400, but I bought it for 150. And honestly, that's all I would even spend for that, because it has manual. I got to level the bed manually, all that stuff. But looking good, honestly. So that 30-minute printing time or start time is pretty crazy. But this is a big printer. Has a lot of features though. I'm definitely gonna clean that. All this. I got fingerprints all over it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna put a ton of stickers on this and stuff. But I assume they're going to add an AMS unit at some point, because that is the smart decision. And I did see like a little exhaust port kind of thing, or printer poop area. So that's what I think that is, at least. So hopefully they will, but who knows? Okay, so I did the preset thing and prepare all this stuff. I could go 0.1, 1, 10, 30 millimeters. I can, level all this. Extruder's pretty dope. And then fan. You can change the fan. So the intake fan, this is the intake fan. The case fan is the exhaust fan, and then the model fan is obviously the print head. So you can change it. So this is when it's at 50. The model fan's running. The exhaust fan, or the auxiliary fan. The auxiliary fan is actually the loudest, because this is what it sounds like. This is like my loudest printer, definitely. But you can turn it off real simple. You press all that, boom, and then you got extruder, and then adjust the print temperature. Print temperature goes to 320 degrees. Settings, network, all this stuff. I can go change all the stuff. Pretty sick. Network info, I'm gonna go mess with all that. But yeah, so there is a specific calibration tab, which is pretty sick. Automatic leveling, PID tuning of the printer's hot end, input shaping. That's pretty dope. One-click self-check, all that stuff, and then we're gonna go upload some files. So there is some preset files. There's a benchy, a cover holder, I don't know what this is. I think that's the Eiffel Tower. I'm actually that's the Eiffel Tower. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the Buddha. Funky looking thing. Let me go. And then this is a scraper. I just use knives. And then this is a vase. Pretty sick. There's no like back button, I think. I guess there's cancel. And this is a battery holder, I guess. So texture plate, you can change that. You can change the time-lapse photography, level, all that stuff. USB drive, print history, prepare. So I'm gonna go press home all. It's gonna be homing. This is the thing. It has one of these. Bada bing, bada bang, and then you got the camera on this side. Seems pretty sick. It seems like a pretty cool printer, so I'm definitely gonna test out some prints, and I'll show y'all what it looks like. Printing pretty quick. I am gonna say this little light here is honestly not enough to see everything, so you are gonna need to get some kind of like different kind of lighting system, because like right here you can kind of see it even if it's dark. Also there's like this big crack in this, which I'm kind of worried about. I mean, for $300 it's definitely good, but I am seeing, like, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know how they'd even really cut that or make that so it's not. But I'm thinking I just put a piece of duct tape there so it can kind of bend, and then just make sure it's all sealed up, because I am going to be using ASA, which it literally says on the packaging may cause cancer, and I'm like, bro, why would I even use that? So, all right, just printed this benchy. Took about 16 minutes or so, maybe 15. Looks pretty decent. Printed this with matte PLA, 3D, whatever. I'm just gonna say it. This filament right here, 3D Hojor or whatever. Yeah, it looks pretty solid. And then what I'm gonna do now is, since I pretty much have the exact same filament, just not matte PLA, same brand though. I'm gonna print a benchy, and it's gonna see what it looks like. I don't like those layer separation lines, but actually, all my benches have that. Never mind, I just realized that. This was printed on my bamboo, so they're about the same. So, printed in 15 minutes. Got the enclosure, got all that stuff. Pretty decent. It vibrates the whole table a lot, but I'm definitely gonna try and seal this up with some duct tape. That is unfortunate. I guess, what other, how would you even solve that? I guess And of course, like the intake and exhaust fans kind of take care of most of the stuff. But I do think they are going to add a, what you call it, a multiple material unit or an AMS type stuff, because that's like the filament scraper right there to switch it out. It's kind of like, what is it, Bowden tube type stuff. You feed it into here, same thing as this. So it all makes sense, and I'm assuming they're gonna add something like this, the AMS unit to this at some point, because it would make sense. But for a $350 printer, this is pretty sick. I'm gonna print some more stuff. I'm gonna print carbon fiber, and then I'm gonna print some ASA, ABS, because I ordered ABS, and I'm gonna stop that. But there's like 5 or 6 preset things. There's like an Eiffel Tower and a couple other things. I think what I'm gonna do is I might print that Eiffel Tower and see what that looks like. But I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna print more of these shelves. That's what I'm gonna do. So, but I got my filament right here. This is the PETG. I've never actually used PETG. I've only ever used PLA and PLA Plus, and then also PLA carbon fiber. But this is all my, filament and stuff. But we're gonna try it out with some other different materials and see what that does. But overall, I think this is gonna cover it for my review. So, what would I rate this printer? I haven't used it a lot. I think I'll update y'all like end of the week, make a short on it. But it seems easy to use. I like the screen. This is the one issue, because I don't want to get cancer, because literally the filaments could give me cancer. And even if they couldn't, I'm not gonna risk it. This thing, I do wish they kind of made it so it's a little bit more snug, because they definitely could have like changed that a little bit. But I mean, the clearance is decent. I don't think it ever really matters, because as long as it kind of seals. But this is the one thing I don't like, is this thing doesn't seal all the way. So, if you're buying one of these, probably just get like a piece of duct tape and then just cover it, and then basically as you bend it, it's not going to do anything. But I mean, there's this small hole right here, but also, the exhaust is going to take all the fumes out and stuff. But got some other things: ECC cover holder, got that thing, got a vase, got a scraper, and then a Buddha. I think I'm going to print a Buddha next. We're going to do, actually, you know what? We're going to go look at the time lapse, wherever that is. USB drive? No? Local? Where is the time lapse? Print history, USB drive, settings, extruder. Where is the camera? Camera. Video list. There we are. Okay. Can I watch this right here? Oh, I can't. That'd be cool if I could. So I guess it just, you put a USB in there, boom, and then you can go view it. So, yeah. But I think I'll edit that, and I'll show it here. But yeah, honestly, it'd be sick if I could watch it time lapse on the screen right here. But can I? No. Yeah, so you gotta have a USB drive. But yeah, I guess it all loads onto this info. This is the info if you want to read that. Your total printing time, so you can change out the parts and stuff. This is the serial number. Actually, I don't know if it doesn't matter. Build volume, there we go, and then we got that, boom, boom, boom. Check for updates. Oh, I gotta update that. So we're gonna update that right now, but apparently, yeah, I was supposed to update it when I got it, so we're gonna update that now, and yeah, cause wait. Yeah, so basically nothing like too significant. So yeah, that pretty much covers it for this review of the Centauri Carbon, the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. Really good printer for $300. If you want a Core XY printer, there's no issues with like pre-ordering or anything. I literally bought this, like I was like actually thinking about it for a couple days, like should I buy it, should I not? I bought it off of the Elegoo website, and then I used this app called Shop or whatever. That's like the one they integrated with. I could track my package. It was pretty dope. $350 total plus the vibration things, which honestly these bend a lot, and they were kind of weird to use. I might put them back on, maybe. But pretty decent. Honestly, if you're buying a printer and you want to get something with an AMS, get something like this. But if you want to get something for, actually, I think it's like $500. But get something that can do, like engineering level materials. If you're like, a classroom setting, get this printer. It's sick. Pretty easy to use. You can't really break this, honestly. I mean, you probably could, but like it's not like easy. The bed leveling's really easy. It's all pretty easy, straightforward printer to use. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid. That ends this review. See y'all in the next video. Look at my mustache. All right. God dang, I'm bold.